Fan service. It's the elephant in the room of the anime community, but I feel that it's something that needs to be addressed. So, to start off, I'd like to consider sort of where this criticism is coming from, because it's not coming from one of those things where it's like, oh, women shouldn't be sexualized. It's like sexuality is such an integral thing to being a human being. I'm pretty sure that just about everybody sexualizes somebody else. It's not on that front, but I have the concern that the anime community, it's one of these hurdles that we have to overcome. Because, so for instance, it's like if I talk with someone who's not particularly a fan of anime, it's like maybe they've seen, like, I don't know, Dragon Ball Z or like Naruto or something like that. When you start getting to sort of the more normal, casual sort of people who are sort of saying, "Oh, look, anime's becoming a really big force within the the youth these days." I mean, like, you can see a lot more people are watching anime these days than ever before in the past, and it's like, that's fucking awesome. Because you know what that means? That means more money is going to be going into these projects, and we'll get greater and greater stuff. And it's like, I feel like honestly we're in anime renaissance right now. You see how many good shows are coming out. It's like, I just watched Devilman Crybaby on Netflix, and it's like Netflix funded a fucking anime show, and it was good. It's like, so we're in this great position, but it's like we need to do some housekeeping. I think so. Here's my problem with fan service, and specifically bad fan service. You know, it's like you get those cliched panty shots, and you get the shows that are like basically the sole purpose that they have for existing is being essentially like softcore pornography. It's kind of like, hey, we want to put this on public television, but we can't show sex or anything like that, so we're just going to have these like creepy panty shots and girls with tits that are way bigger than what should be feasibly possible and all this stuff. And it's like, so whenever you go to someone and they're like, oh, I don't know, it's like you have friends in class or whatever, at work or whatever, like, oh, what have you been watching? You know, like catching up on stuff. It's like, oh, I've been watching this anime. And then it's like you get this look on their face and they're like, you know, and it's kind of like, I feel that there's this creep factor associated with it, where it's kind of like, oh, so you like watching girls and like their panties, like, oh, the girl runs and knocks into the guy, and it's like, then they just so happen to fall to where her crotch is right in his face, and you get a nice eye view of striped panties, and it's like, so I guess my problem with fan service is that most of it is done poorly. It's like, what I'm not saying here is that we need to take sexuality outside of the medium. It's like, no, it's like I said, sexuality is this integral thing for people, and it's like, it's a very powerful thing. And it's just that I think that fan service is done incredibly poorly, I think is the way that I put it. So for instance, it's like, what is it that makes people sort of, I don't know, like sexually excited? It's like, man, I honestly think that whenever you have instances where it's like the female characters aren't just basically eye candy, it's like, no. Honestly, I've found that some of the most erotic sort of showings, whenever fan service is done well, it's whenever the female characters are very sort of like, they're respectable. It's like the fact that you have someone who is, whether it be a high stature, whenever you get someone who is very desirable, and not just like, it's like, because whenever you have these characters that when in bad fan service shows, what happens is that it's like the character solely exists as like, this is a meat object with breasts and a vagina, and that's the sole purpose for their existence. And it's like, I'm sorry, I can't respect that, and I can't respect the people who are putting that kind of stuff out. But whenever it's a character where it's like, they're an actual character, and they feel like they're alive, and they're living, and they're breathing, and it's like they have this attraction towards the main character or something like that. It's like, the fact that there is someone of that stature who's attracted to you, it's like that right there. It's like you can have like more sort of, you know, okay, things can get racy from time to time. It's just that, like, I don't know. There's this like creep factor that's really come out from all these bad fan service shows, and man, you can tell that there's a certain demographic for these kinds of things, because what ends up happening is that you'll get studios that'll basically like low budget, crappy animation, softcore porn. Here we go, and it's just like. It's funny because it's like you can really tell whenever people make shows when their heart is in it and they actually like have this passion for it. And when it's just like people like coming in the office and they're like, oh yes, punching in my ticket. Oh, got to work on the show again. It's like it's one of those things you can really tell when people are passionate and when they really aren't. And it's just like I feel that if we as consumers of anime sort of bring up this conversation and sort of, if we pay with our, it's like. In some sense, by supporting shows that are like that, it's just like this lowest common denominator horseshit. It's like you're not doing the industry any favors, but it's like if you stop, it's kind of like for most shows, it's like the old cliched 3-episode rule. It's like you watch it, no. If a show's like of this caliber, where it's like something like, what's the show that the Ore-emo guys did? Eromanga Sensei. It's like I dropped that show like halfway in the first episode. It's like I know what this is. It's pandering garbage, and there's nothing profound or meaningful that's going to be said in this show. And it's like shows like that when you're like, oh, I like anime, and people are like, oh, you like the weird fucking incest shit. It's like no. It's like I like shows like Fate Zero and Madoka Magica and Steins Gate and Full Metal Alchemist. And it's like those shows actually like really deal with like the human condition in a really awesome way. And it's like, I don't know, I think that we'd be in a much better position if we sort of understand what we're getting into whenever people are like, clicking on other stuff like that. And it's like, I'm not saying people should not be allowed to. It's just like, I think that if we're smart consumers, the marketplace will correct itself. And that's my hope at least. Well, anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Am I just completely off base on this? Or do you think I have like, even if you don't completely agree with me, do you think maybe there's like a nugget or a kernel of truth in what I'm saying? Anyhow, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.